Also tonight, some members of the community take part in the day to remember the legacy of Pat Robertson.
The founder of the Christian Broadcast Network died last week in Virginia Beach. Robertson leaves behind a legacy and empire in the city. Besides CBN, Robertson founded Operation Blessing and Regent University, where a private service was held this afternoon. 10 on your side's Andy Fox is in Virginia Beach tonight. Andy?
Yeah, Tom, Robertson came from a political family. He ran for president in 1988. He was the first to really get religion involved in politics. It is a political base that remains today. Crown him with many crowns, one of Pat Robertson's favorite hymns. Chris Mitchell, Regent University's chief of police.
The patriarch, a visionary, a mighty pillar, a man of great integrity, a fierce warrior.
That sums up Chief Mitchell's love and respect for Pat Robertson. There were many powerful moments, but also light moments too. Gordon Robertson told what happened when he checked into a Tokyo hotel.
I turn on the TV, and there's my dad, full screen, looking at me, speaking in Japanese.
Chief Mitchell also did not take kindly to those who were aggressively negative towards Pat Robertson.
In my 21 years of serving him, I never, ever once heard him say a negative thing about anyone that said something negative about him. He would just say, "Chris, we gotta love."
After getting a law degree in 1955 from Yale University, Robertson underwent a religious conversion, which would set the path that he would travel. It was said he walked with the living God.
Pat wanted to take the airwaves for the King of Kings because the King of Kings told him to, and Pat answered, "Here am I, Lord, Hineni, send me." And the birth of CBN, the 700 Clubs, documentaries, on and on it goes.
And also at the service, First Lady Suzanne Youngkin, who presented the family with a flag that flew above the Capitol on June 8th, the day Pat Robertson died. In Virginia Beach at Regent University, Andy Fox, 10 on your side.
He made such a large impact on this community for decades. And of course, you can see more on the life and career of Pat Robertson right now on wavy.com.
Virginia Beach police are looking into the chain of events that led up to an overnight shooting. It happened around 2:30 this morning on Keelboat Circle, just off South Independence Boulevard. Dispatch said there was one victim. We're waiting for details on the suspect and the condition of that victim. We'll continue to track the story and post any updates over on wavy.com.
And we're following up to a weekend homicide in Newport News. Police are on the third day of looking for a suspect in that deadly shooting. Officers arrived on Chalice Court Saturday night just before midnight after reports of shots fired. Police say one man died at the scene. His name has not been released. So far, there is no suspect information.
10 on your side is your local election headquarters, and you'll want to be with us tomorrow for sure. It is primary day in Virginia. Early voting has been going on for a few weeks now, but tomorrow will be your last day to vote at your polling place. Control of the General Assembly is up for grabs. That includes seats in the State House of Delegates and the State Senate. Virginia is an open primary state, which means you don't have to be registered with a party ahead of time. Redistricting is also playing a significant role in this year's races. Polls are open from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. You can watch your vote count here tomorrow night on Wavy News 10 at 11.
Well, today is Juneteenth across the nation. It's the federal holiday commemorating the emancipation of enslaved African Americans. The occasion was marked by a number of events around the area. 10 on your side in Newport News, where the Freedom Festival is just wrapping up. This included live music, vendors, and food trucks at King Lincoln Park. And one Juneteenth event is taking a different spin on things. This spin is on a skateboard, that is.
It's all thanks to a black business owner in Portsmouth and his love of the extreme sport. 10 on your side's Kiana Patterson takes us to the skate park for this story.
All right, y'all, I'm not going to get on this skateboard because I almost fell a little earlier today, but you can see the skaters out here enjoying the Juneteenth Jam here at Craddock Skate Park, and they say that they wanted to make sure that this day was special. A day to celebrate freedom on four wheels. Tony Herndon is one of few black skate shop owners in the world. He says the Juneteenth Jam is all about inspiring the community.
Exercise your freedom, celebrate diversity, and include everybody in something.
9-year-old skater Elias Williams and his dad are here to give back.
We thought it was pretty important to help out, so we actually brought some decks to give out that Elias had won.
And gain more insight about the history.
Elias is just figuring out about the world and how things go, and so we're here to learn and, open our heart.
Herndon hopes the crowd leaves better than they came.
Just a little more exposure and knowledge about what Juneteenth holiday actually is. Seeing that a black business in the city is giving back and just celebrating each other.
Despite his hard time, skate shop flooding yet again.
We had another leak in the shop, kind of the same thing that happened almost 6 months ago to the date.
The community all chipped in to help make repairs. Herndon says this time he has insurance. And despite all the odds,
we're still here. We're going to have a good time today, and we're going to push through, and hopefully, we'll handle that after today. And the rebuild efforts, so just keep your eyes open and your ears open to see what's happening next.
And if you couldn't make it out for Juneteenth Jam today, there is another opportunity for you to join in on the fun. There's a Go Skate Day on Wednesday. I'll post all that information for you over on wavy.com. In Portsmouth, Kiana Patterson, 10 on your side.
And the city of Virginia Beach is looking for some help in tracking issues during this weekend's Beach It Festival.
Ahead on Wavy News 10 at 6, what you'd be doing and how it can help your community.
Plus, stopping the bleed, the work taken on by 2 students to help others if the nightmare scenario comes up at school. In sports, some local NFL stars are back in the 757 to show off their skills for the kids.
And Steve with more on that nasty rain heading our way and trouble in the tropics. It's all as we continue on this Juneteenth evening.
From the station on your side, you're watching Wavy News 10 at 6.
A big weekend is coming up at the Virginia Beach oceanfront with the first ever Beach It Country Music Festival.
And the city's Human Rights Commission is looking for volunteers to help out. Organizers will have the volunteers spread out in the festival to observe the safety and friendliness of the event. They'll be walking between 10th and 31st Streets. Observers will work in 3-hour shifts. You'll need your personal cell phone to communicate and coordinate during the program. We have sign-up information for you also on wavy.com.
Starting tomorrow, kids in need will be able to get breakfast and lunch for free over the summer thanks to the Food Bank of Southeast Virginia and the Eastern Shore. The Summer Food Service Program makes sure children can have a warm breakfast and lunch. There are several spots to pick up a meal. You can find a list of locations and pickup times on wavy.com. The program runs through August.
Next at 6, preparing for the worst. We don't want to think about it, but 2 high schoolers are thinking ahead just in case of a school shooting. Their story is coming up.
And a wet week ahead, but not quite yet. Steve has the timetable on our rain and more, all when we come back.
From the station on your side, you're watching Wavy News 10 at 6.
And we're back with 2 local students and their goal to increase the chance of survival during a shooting or any violent event that could happen in their school system.
It's something we hope would never happen, but unfortunately, the increase in school shootings continues. 10 on your side's Katie Collette shares their mission and how you can help them stop the bleed.
I saw the shootings that were happening around America, and I saw that they were getting closer, especially with Rich Neck that happened not too long ago.
Ethan Swartz wants to be ready to help should the school shootings plaguing the nation hit his beloved Smithfield High School.
It's sad that we have to do this, but it is something that is necessary because there is a real threat.
So this rising senior did some research and learned about Stop the Bleed kits.
They've saved countless lives on the battlefield, and I thought that we should bring them to the schools. And I found these kits on Amazon, which are $45.
He teamed up with family friend and fellow junior ROTC member Cadence DeStefano to get the kits in Smithfield High School and begin training for the entire Smithfield Junior ROTC program.
The ultimate goal is to have one in every classroom, every hallway, in the gym, in the cafeteria, the offices, and just anywhere that something might go wrong.
The Stop the Bleed kits are small, sealed boxes packed with the essentials to help those trained give victims more time. You'll find tourniquets, blankets, gloves, compressed gauze, and more inside. The training kit includes a foam roll with several types of wounds.
So here we have the bullet wound, and then on the other side we have the exit wound and like a stab wound. And then we take the gauze and we place them in, and you pack the gauze in tight until you can't.
If paramedics were not available at that time, this alone would probably be enough to save somebody's life.
After an hour and a half of training, a number of Smithfield High School teachers are now qualified to stop the bleed.
Within two days, we had about 100 JROTC cadets trained in Stop the Bleed.
Now all JROTC students at Smithfield are trained. Ethan says that basically puts one person trained in Stop the Bleed in every classroom. While these two students want to see Stop the Bleed kits in all classrooms in Isle of Wight County, they want it to be even more far-reaching.
I'm not just looking for this to be a county-wide thing, I'm looking for this to be a state, possibly countrywide thing.
And at roughly $45 per kit?
If it saves one life, it's worth every penny.
In Smithfield, Katie Collette, 10 on your side.
If you would like to donate to help Ethan and Cadence reach their goal, go to our website, wavy.com, and click on this story.
Now, your Super Doppler 10 forecast with meteorologist Steve Fundero.
Many of us had the chance to soak in the summer sunshine today. Temps right where they should be, upper 80s. Felt a little bit closer to 90, though, as that humidity crept back into the region. Humidity is going to stick around for the rest of the week, but our temperatures are going to fluctuate as the moisture moves in and a bit of an ocean breeze develops, kind of like a June nor'easter as we head to the middle of the work week. But at least this evening looks beautiful. Temps dropping into the 70s as we head through the sunset time frame. Some showers just to our north near the northern neck will slowly drift to the north, and the rainfall off towards the west is going to use I-95 kind of as the barrier. It's going to stay right along that corridor there and drift to the north, as the area low pressure off towards the west will eventually get us with some soaking rainfall. It's actually going to shift to the south and then scoop itself back up to the north. So it kind of does a little bit of a dip and heads into our neck of the woods later on Tuesday night into our Wednesday. So tonight it's really just the increasing clouds before the front lifts into the region. By the second half of our Tuesday, it moves in, brings in the rainfall on the second half of our Tuesday. As of now, the majority of the daylight hours tomorrow look dry. Tuesday night is when some of the rain moves in. Could be heavy at times and then takes us all the way through the night into our Wednesday morning. So tomorrow we'll be in the upper 70s because that breeze picks up the pace off the ocean, gusting to near 25, even 30 miles an hour at times. And most of the day we'll just see increasing clouds before the rain moves in by the evening. And then the system just kind of stalls out a little bit and takes us throughout our Wednesday, and that ocean breeze will keep going. So it keeps temperatures down and keeps the chance of showers as we head throughout Wednesday into even Thursday. Breeze could pick up the pace into Tuesday evening, gusting to near 30-35 miles an hour at times, and that will go all the way through our Wednesday as well. So a little bit of almost like a nor'easter that sets up. And as the rainfall piles on tomorrow night into Wednesday morning, we could pick up easily about an inch of rain in some spots, and then with additional showers taking us into Thursday, we'll get more than that. Some models have us getting over 2 inches of rain in some spots, so we're likely getting some soaking rains here to Hampton Roads. We need it, but sometimes when you ask for it, you get buckets of it. Now let's go to Tropical Storm Brett, just developed at the 5 o'clock hour as expected, and is moving into the Caribbean by the end of the week. This thing is still thousands of miles away, so by Friday and Saturday, we'll be talking about a hurricane moving into the Caribbean, but then by then, there's still some big uncertainty about where it goes. Does it fall apart? Does it turn north? We are not concerned by this by any means, but definitely something for us to talk about and watch for, because behind Brett is another area that will likely see development over the next couple of days. That one has a better chance to stay out into the Atlantic. And we don't typically see development this deep in the Atlantic this time of year. This is more of a pattern we see in August and September. So this just points towards more warmth in the Atlantic as a whole, which could trend towards a more active season, which we kind of have been expecting every year after year after year. All right, through the night tonight, it's just increasing clouds, maybe maybe a spotty shower here or there, but we're looking good for most of Tuesday. We see a few showers nearby for lunchtime, but most of the rain will be moving in right around the evening commute or just thereafter into sunset. And then through the late night hours, overnight into Wednesday morning, likely going to be a mess with some heavy rain. Bit of a break by Wednesday afternoon, but some showers could be sticking around all the way through Thursday and the end of the week.
A local NFL player gets ready to hold a camp, and one of the newest members of the Tides is adapting quite well to AAA. And speaking of the Tides, did you know that they can clinch a title this week? We'll explain next on the Sports Wrap.
Tonight on News Nation, their teenage son was victimized by a Nigerian sextortion scam on social media, leading to his untimely death. Now, Jordan DeMay's parents are speaking out about the worrisome trends that's targeting minors across America. Tonight on Balance. Then, on Cuomo, former Ambassador John Bolton joins Chris to discuss Secretary of State Blinken's visit to Beijing and what it means for U.S.-China relations. That's tonight on Cuomo. See why more people are turning to News Nation. To find News Nation, go to joinnn.com.
Sports Wrap, sponsored by Rivers Casino Portsmouth. Experience the excitement.
The Tides wrapped up their homestand against the Worcester Red Sox yesterday. Norfolk lost the game and the series, but that's just a bump in the road. At 45-23, the Tides have far and away the best record in AAA, and they actually have something to play for. AAA is crowning a first half of the season champion. For the Tides, the magic number to clinch the first half title is 2 games. They begin a 6-game road trip in Nashville tomorrow. The first half winners will meet in a best-of-3 league championship series, with the winning teams going to Las Vegas to play in the AAA National Championship game. This Tides team has been so dominant, they've outscored their opponents by 110 runs.
It just shows kind of collectively what we've been able to do this first half. You know, when the bats aren't going, the pitching's there to pick us up, and when, you know, the pitching's not there, the bats have picked us up. And but to have that run differential just shows, is a testament to what we've actually been able to do as a team.
This week, fans got to see the Harbor Park debut of Heston Kjerstad. He was the 2nd overall pick in the 2020 draft, battled some medical issues, Started the season at Double-A Bowie and then recently got the call to Triple-A. In 11 games, he has 13 hits and 3 home runs. Not a bad start for the 24-year-old from Amarillo, Texas.
I got sidelined for myocarditis. That put me out like a year and a half, and then, it ended up being 2 years. Another 6 months was added for, having a hamstring injury and everything. So, from the time I got drafted to the time I played my first game, it was exactly 2 years, and then, been back in the saddle for the past year since June 10th. So, I got a year under my belt of minor league baseball. So it's, this year has been a lot more fun than the past 2.
NFL teams are off until training camps open next month. That's when a lot of players come back home and give back to their communities. For example, Josh Sweat of the Eagles will be holding the camp on Saturday. The event takes place at the Virginia Beach Sportsplex, and he'll be bringing along some of his NFL friends. There's going to be a combine, a dodgeball tournament, and all kinds of cool stuff. Sweat, coming off of a year where the Eagles went to the Super Bowl, but he says come training camp, it's time to start over.
The mentality is pretty much just we're at the bottom again. I mean, that's just how we have to look at it. I mean, we can't really think about that. We went, we didn't win. Everybody's starting over. I mean, we're at the bottom. I mean, that's how it is.
So Sweat's event begins Saturday at 6 at the Sportsplex. Registration begins at 5. Also, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah of the Browns going to hold a camp at Darling Stadium in Hampton on Sunday. So nice to see the local guys giving back to the community.
Absolutely. I just wish we had a better 7-day to greet them with.
Because it's not looking all that great.
Not our best showing here. Not our best showing. Take advantage of the daylight hours tomorrow when things will be dry, because by tomorrow night, once it starts raining, it's going to be a doozy.
All right, Steve, thanks so much. Our next newscast is coming up at 6:30 on Fox 43.
And we'll see you back here at 11.
It's true.
But, hi, mic check 1, 2, mic check.
Hello.
Now, from the station on your side, you're watching Wavy News 10 on Fox 43.
Ahead at 6:30, loved ones gather to remember the life of Pat Robertson. We'll give you a look at the legacy he leaves behind. Plus, a Hampton Roads event honors Juneteenth, how a skate competition reflects the national holiday. And more than 100 horses seized. What we're learning about a major rescue in Western Virginia. Today, the community held the funeral service for Pat Robertson. Good evening and thanks for joining us here at 6:30. The televangelist died a week and a half ago in Virginia Beach at the age of 93. Hundreds showed up to Shaw Chapel at Regent University for the service. Several people spoke at the event. Some of them mentioned the joy and service that Robertson brought to the community. They also spoke about Isaiah 58, which is the scripture that inspired Robertson to create Operation Blessing.
I think about all the work that he began and that's now going to move forward. Pat wanted to take the airwaves for the King of Kings because the King of Kings told him to, and Pat answered, "Here am I, Lord, Hineni, send me." And the birth of CBN, the 700 Club, documentaries, on and on it goes.
And at the end, to fulfill his wishes, Pat Robertson was followed out of the chapel with a Dixieland jazz band playing When the Saints Go Marching In. A shooting investigation is also happening in Virginia Beach tonight. Police tell us the shooting happened around 2:30 this morning on Keelboat Circle, just off of South Independence Boulevard. Dispatch says there was one victim. We're waiting for details on the suspect and the condition of the victim. We'll continue to track this story and post any updates over on wavy.com. And Virginia ABC is cracking down on theft, including some by its own employees. The Alcoholic Beverage Control Authority announced it's increasing and revamping the way it does store audits. This comes after the discovery of a vulnerability in their sales system that potentially allowed employees to take money unnoticed. ABC says 7 stores in the Commonwealth had internal thefts. That includes the store on Turnpike Road in Portsmouth. At least 2 employees there are suspected of taking money from the store's safe. An audit of that store found more than $50,000 in cash and checks missing. Time now to get a check of the forecast. You're taking a live look from Tower Cam 10 in downtown Portsmouth. It's been pretty nice outside if you're a fan of the heat, but we're expecting some rain to move in for much of the week. So let's check in with meteorologist Don Slater to see the timeline on that.
Okay, take a look at what we've got. There it is. Late day rain coming up for the day tomorrow. It's election day tomorrow. 79 degrees is going to be our high temperature. Today was in the upper 80s, around 90 degrees. We'll see the wind pick up at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Where's that rain coming from? Off to the west of our area, there's a pretty solid area of rainfall that is going to be moving in, and here it is. You can see it on off into here. As far as warnings, there's a tornado warning way on off into western North Carolina, but this rain is not likely to get us really until late in the day tomorrow, more toward around 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Big thunderstorms going on today on down into here, but this low pressure is going to be hovering across the mid-Atlantic states now coming up for the next several days. And for the day today, just some cloud cover, and that's about it. You can see the thin clouds that have overspread the area for right now. Now, the rain totals between now and Wednesday evening at 7. I think this is too much. We'll watch and see how this goes. This is going way too much. This is going 3-4 inches of rain, or 3-3.5 inches of rain. But I think we could get 2 inches of rain easily through the area, and I think everybody's going to end up with significant rainfall. This is just through Wednesday. It's likely to be the biggest rain that we get, but we'll see rainfall every day, at least for part of the day, all the way on into the weekend. Here's where we are tomorrow morning. Rain? Nah, not likely. 13 to 20 mile an hour winds. Here's where things are by 2 in the afternoon, 18 to 25. Winds are picking up. So is the rainfall by 4 o'clock. Here's where things are by 7 o'clock in the evening. Pockets of heavy rain moving on through. Some thunder and lightning. Severe weather? No, not real likely. Heavy rain? Yeah, it's kind of likely through the area. Those are where things are at 1 in the morning. It lets up, but we still see wave upon wave of rain. And then Wednesday for the day, it'll still be rather windy through the region, but not as much rain during the the afternoon hours. So again, scattered rain late Tuesday and through early Wednesday. That lets up a little bit. Inch and a half at least of rain through the area. Temperatures upper 70s, low 80s. We'll have a lot more, including something new into the tropics in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Don. Well, we're on your side, making it easier to get the free Wavy weather app for your smartphone and tablet. Just take a picture of the QR code on your screen and the app will automatically come up for you. Once you have it, be sure to turn on weather alerts, and you'll also get the hour-by-hour forecast, live radar, and access to weather blogs. Today, we commemorate Juneteenth, a day to reflect on the emancipation of the last enslaved blacks in 1865. There have been events all over Hampton Roads, and one of them happened in Portsmouth. Skaters from all over came to the city for a skate contest. The Juneteenth Jam wrapped up a few hours ago with winners walking away with a grand prize and, of course, bragging rights, too. Tony Herndon owns one of the few black-owned skate shops in the world, and he also spends his time giving back to the community, from skate days like this to fighting to keep this very park open. He says today is a day to exercise your freedom, celebrate diversity, and just have a good time.
A little more exposure and knowledge about what Juneteenth holiday actually is. Seeing that a black business in the city is giving back and just celebrating each other, you know, having a great time and skateboarding, of course.
Now, if you couldn't make it out for the Juneteenth Jam today, National Go Skate Day is on Wednesday, so you can find more information about that event on wavy.com. While Juneteenth is a federal holiday, activists say it's more than just a day off from work. The Reedy Chapel African Methodist Episcopal Church is located in Galveston, Texas. It's the site where the first Juneteenth march ended. Formerly enslaved people walked from the Galveston County Courthouse to the church, and now the church holds an event each year to remember that day.
Every year we do a reenactment of the first celebration of emancipation that happened here in Galveston. It's emotional, it's transformative, because we are literally walking in the steps of the ancestors.
Besides attending a parade or event, activists say you can honor Juneteenth by supporting black-owned businesses or visiting African-American museums and historical sites. Well, 10 on your side is your local election headquarters. Tomorrow is primary day across Virginia and North Carolina. You can cast your ballot to help decide who represents us in the Virginia General Assembly. There are races in Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Suffolk, and more. The winners of tomorrow's primaries will face their opponents in November. You do not have to be registered for one party or another before you vote. But before heading out to the polls, don't forget to visit our voter guide on wavy.com. Our digital team has everything you need to know, including a link to check your registration status, profiles of local candidates who are running for office, and a look at new local districts. We have so much more news ahead here at 6:30, including a major rescue in Western Virginia, how a search led to more than 100 horses being saved from dangerous conditions. An investigation is underway after police say they rescued more than 100 horses from a Shenandoah farm. 4 of those horses are now being treated by Richmond Animal Care and Control. Relyn Wilson spoke with a spokesperson from the facility today and has an update on how the horses are doing tonight.
The 13-year-old racehorse Daffodil is starting to settle into her temporary home here in Richmond.
She's so nice.
The former racehorse is being treated by Richmond Animal Care and Control alongside Julie, June, and Nutmeg, 4 of nearly 100 horses rescued from a Shenandoah farm.
They love all the attention.
This rescue effort comes after the Shenandoah County Sheriff's Office says they received an animal welfare complaint last week. Soon after, deputies responded to Mount Jackson, where they found nearly 100 malnourished horses with visible hip and rib bones. Multiple organizations, including Central Virginia Horse Rescue, Shenandoah Valley Equine Rescue Network, and Hope's Legacy, stepped in to help. On Friday, Christy Chips Peters with Richmond Animal Care and Control tells me they took on 4 of the worst cases.
Nutmeg was covered in lice. So she went and got the full treatment there.
As the road to recovery continues, the 4 horses are getting all cleaned up and fully nourished before they are ready to be adopted to their forever homes. Something Chips Peters tells me couldn't be done without so many helping hands along the way.
One person made this horrible situation happen, but hundreds of them will make it right.
And coming up, new rules for marijuana. New laws will soon go into effect in Virginia. Find out what changes it'll bring to businesses across the Commonwealth. And weather worries. Millions of people are dealing with severe weather in the South. We'll show you some of the damage the system has brought with it. With new laws regulating hemp set to take effect July 1st, stores across the Commonwealth are preparing to take products off their shelves. In April, the General Assembly approved Governor Glenn Youngkin's proposed changes to a bill that bans hemp products containing more than 2 milligrams of THC. Some businesses selling products containing THC are pulling products they can no longer sell when new legislation goes into effect on July 1st. The general manager at the dispensary Richmond says that THC makes up 98% of her business and layoffs are possible as a result of those new regulations.
It's heartbreaking that we've been in business here a little over 2 years. Most of us who work here have been here that entire time working together. We're definitely a family, not only us, but customers as well. We've been seeing the same faces a couple times a week for the past 2 years.
Youngkin and some lawmakers argue the new law is a consumer safety measure. According to a recent study, the number of kids accidentally ingesting edible cannabis rose by over 1,000% in 4 years. But the new law does provide an exception for products with a 25-to-1 ratio of CBD to THC after some argued those products can be used for therapeutic purposes. Severe storms are threatening much of the South. It comes as temperatures soar to triple digits throughout the region. Katie Byrne shows us some of the impact.
Millions of people across the South are bracing for another round of severe storms on Monday. In Mississippi, the same storm system we're tracking today spawned a reported tornado Sunday night, causing at least 1 death, multiple injuries, and leaving behind structural damage. And in Tennessee, thousands of Memphis homes and businesses are without electricity after gusty winds knocked down power lines.
This is the tornado.
All this as the region cleans up from last week's devastating twisters. Over the weekend, Governor Greg Abbott met with officials in Perryton, Texas, where a tornado carved an 8-mile path of destruction. He issued a disaster declaration for multiple counties impacted by the storm. Folks there facing a long recovery.
I've seen more tornadoes than I can count. What the people in this area have gone through over the past couple of days is nothing short of horrific.
And as cleanup efforts get underway, a massive heat wave is now sweeping across the South, sending temperatures into the triple digits for people in Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi.
You walk outside and it just grasps you and there's no way to escape it.
Cities throughout the region are opening cooling centers for people still without power.
It's also important to those vulnerable people, the elderly, the under 4, people with chronic illness. They really need to take refuge from the heat, especially if they don't have that in their own home.
Forecasters say severe weather could impact states further north later this week. In Philadelphia, Katie Byrne, Fox Weather.
Don, a little bit of everything out there. The heat, the strong winds. What are we going to get?
Well, we're going to end up with some rainfall in our area. Enjoy what we've got and enjoy it really through the first part of the day tomorrow. We're not likely to see any rainfall move on in until later on in the afternoon for our area. Here's the rainfall over the next 5 days. Again, there's a chance of rain each day, but tomorrow's rain doesn't show up until later on in the day, and Wednesday's rain is only really the first part of the day. So we'll nail down the timing of this coming up in just a minute. Unusually early tropical activity. Usually this kind of weather activity only happens in late August, between August 15th and on through September, where you get these storms that develop off into here. They rarely hit the United States, but when they do, they can be especially strong because they've got the entire tropical Atlantic to go across and heat up and really strengthen. Well, we've got a brand new tropical storm right here. Tropical Storm Brett, likely to become a minimal hurricane, 80, then 75, and then start to fall apart somewhere south of the island of Hispaniola, and there's where Puerto Rico is located as well, start to fall apart there to 70 miles an hour. So again, it's out there, and very, very highly unusual that it is indeed out there at all. Possible paths for Brett, well, they're pretty much all taking them now right on into here. A few of them taking it out off to the northwest or north, so we'll have to watch out for that, but we've got a long time to do so. Watching it, but not concerned yet about this whole situation. Again, very unusual. There is Brett, and there's one following it, a tropical depression, or not a tropical depression, but a tropical disturbance that's following it, and it's likely to curve on off to the northwest right now. What's going on for us? We saw that threat of severe weather going on. There is still a threat that we'll see some severe thunderstorms on down into here, but no watches or warnings quite yet. There are some watches up. There's one watch up for Texas right now where they could see some severe weather. Our weather is controlled by a low pressure area, and that low pressure area is going to meander through the mid-Atlantic over the next couple of days. Close to home, rainy weather is going to be building, and we're going to see that build into the day tomorrow. Now, here's what's going on. This just updated. It's our future track computer model. It's called the Graph model, and it's an in-house model. 20-mile-an-hour winds out of the east-southeast tomorrow morning. Warm. The humidity is building up. The wind is building up. The rain is building up, not so much at 1 o'clock, but by 4 o'clock it builds up. I think it's going to end. This has got a little bit too much rain, but it's got the right idea. We're going to see pockets of heavy rain beginning during the overnight hours tomorrow night as low pressure areas sneak along, surround and go around that main low pressure area that you saw to the west of us. You see the winds gusting. It's going 30, 40 miles an hour. Those are things on by Wednesday morning. So the bulk of the rain happens overnight tomorrow night into Wednesday morning. Wednesday afternoon, a stray shower or two, and not too much more than that. And then we'll start to see a few more showers work their way back in for the day on Thursday. So we're looking at some rainfall for the area. As I said, I think that forecast model, the graph, has too much rain. But look at how much is popping out. 4.75 inches. That's too much. That's anomalously way too much. It's again, it's an outlier. I think the Bureau and the NAM, probably 1.5 to 2.5 inches of rain is entirely within the realm of possibility. And that's a lot for 2 days worth of rainfall too. So we're likely to see again some really quite heavy rainfall into the area, especially tomorrow night and into Wednesday morning. 79 and 78 back up into the low to mid 80s with a chance of rain each day all the way into the weekend of the first part of next week.
All right, thanks, Don. Well, a local nonprofit is providing scholarships to area students with the hope that one day they'll give back to the community that raised them. The latest recipient and her reaction after the break.
Also have someone to look up to, someone that's already been in experience as to where I'm trying to get to. So that's definitely a plus to actually.
New at 6:30, Newport News-based nonprofit We Believe in Your Child Too is helping more students in Hampton Roads pursue their dreams. The organization provides scholarships to area students with the hope that one day those students will invest their gifts back into the community. They also provide scholarship recipients with a mentor to help answer any questions they might have. This year, they awarded 9 students with scholarships and raised more than $11,000. Bethel High School graduate Autumn Billups was awarded the Ayanna Brown Nursing Scholarship Award. Brown graduated from Bethel in 2017 and is now working as a registered nurse at Johns Hopkins in Baltimore. Billups says she's happy to have someone like Brown to look up to.
Also have someone to look up to, someone that's already been in experience as to where I'm trying to get to. So that's definitely a plus to actually see that you've already made it and I want to get there. So it's really awesome having that example.
Billups will be attending Winston-Salem State University this fall. And if you'd like to learn more about We Believe in Your Child Too, just head to wavy.com.